Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. We're James and Kelly, and we have been living in China for the past 4 years. Today we are going back to where it all started in Suzhou.
May 10th, 2019, our lives changed forever. We landed in Hangzhou Airport not knowing how to say the airport name or even knowing where we were. And our driver was angry. We arrived late because of a delayed flight, and he angrily picked up our bags, which had our poor cat Stella in it. He threw it over his back and he just started sprinting.
This was a wake-up call to show us how much China was going to be full of surprises. After 2 hours of driving, we finally arrived at this gate where our driver stopped and started taking out all of our luggage. The problem was, this is not where we were going to live. We were exhausted after 48 hours of flying. With 2 cats, we had no way of contacting. After 2 hours... Guys, what the f***? Damn. Okay. 2 cats, we had no way of contacting our work, which was setting us up with the apartment. And it was already nighttime. Luckily for us, our driver decided to call the people who had hired them to make sure he had the right location, and we found out that we just needed to walk a block down to the next apartment complex. This was where our first ever apartment was here in China. It's called BaiTang number 2, and we lived here for almost a year. This is where we first realized that almost all residential areas here in China are in these gated communities. They're surrounded by fences and are filled with these sky-rise buildings. We lived on the 7th floor, and if you want to check out our first apartment, you can click the video here for our first ever apartment tour.
At first we were a little skeptical about living in a gated community because we never lived in one before. But after living here for a year, it's very convenient. Everything is just in one spot. Inside of our compound, we had a small little fruit and vegetable stand, so whenever we needed, we could go and get it. Our next compound had quite a few different shops where we could always go and buy different drinks and things, and it makes it so much more convenient.
BaiTang got its name because it is right next to the BaiTang Park.
We are now at BaiTang Park, and we lived in BaiTang for about a year, and we spent quite a bit of time coming here for walks, and we even had a few picnics with friends. I loved coming to this park because it's a perfect way to get away from the city life and reconnect with nature, because in the springtime, the flowers are blooming, the colors change during the fall of the trees. It's just so peaceful, and I love this park. It's summertime here in China, and that means that it is brutally hot and humid. Luckily for us though, it is cloudy today. It does rain. It has been raining like the past whole month, and it's going to rain for quite a few more weeks. But we are thankful that it's not raining now, and it's just cloudy.
BaiTang Park really showed us the difference between American parks and Chinese parks. Back home, when you go to a park, it would just be kind of an empty grassy area with some trees and a play set for children to go play. But in China, their parks are very different. They're filled with different types of plants and these special walkways that allow you to kind of immerse yourself in all of this nature and get away from the city life.
One of the first local breakfasts we had was a jinbing, which was actually just a small stall on the side of the road. However, it is after 10 o'clock, so all of those food stalls are closed, but we have a place that we would go to every morning before work at the kindergarten, which is just this small little shop, and we are going to go get a jinbing. Shanghai does have them, but it's the different style. It has like a crunchy thing in it, but we really like the one that they have here in Suzhou.
One thing we noticed when we first arrived in China is that there are tons of these mini coffee shops all over the place. And luckily we found one of our favorite coffee shops called the Penguin Bureau of Investigation, which is where we would go almost every day when we worked at the kindergarten that is just right next door.
There's something about this jinbing. It's just egg with what is it? It's like a flour wrap with egg, and then the inside it just has lettuce, cucumber, a spicy sauce, and then this brown sauce. It's kind of gives it a little sweet taste. So good. Yep. We just finished our breakfast and coffee and we headed to Jingcheng Mall. And this place holds a very sentimental place in my heart because this is where I first became a teacher. And you're probably wondering, how were you a teacher inside of a mall? And that's because of the golden days of training centers. Training centers used to be a huge thing in China where you would work inside of a mall because children would come here after school where they could learn different subjects like English, math, Chinese, and we worked at an English training center here at this mall.
Oh, it still has all of its stuff. I'm doing with this.
It's been 3 years since we worked at Fast Track Training Center and about 2 since it's been closed. But the mall is still using it as decoration. So all of the stuffed animals and the mascots are still here.
There he is. The Fast Track elephant.
It's crazy to think that it's still here. The first place I worked at in China, and I can still remember walking into this place every Wednesday to Sunday. One of the first things we really noticed when living in China and working in this training center was the fact that the third floor was always built and centered around children activities. So they have like jungle gyms, they had the different after school programs, they have a STEAM class, they had a roller skating ring. It's all on the third floor. So if you were ever curious to know where to go for your children, just go to the third floor at any mall.
How does it feel coming back here?
It's actually kind of sad. Like looking at it, I'm actually like crying, sad. Because it was where we started China. I had no idea what was going on. We expected to only be in China for max of 2 years, and it ended up being 4. And met a lot of our close friends working at this training center and meeting the people in Suzhou. It's just very sentimental knowing that it's our last time coming into this mall and being in Suzhou for probably a while. It's a little sad. The best part about working in the mall is the basement.
So many people. The basement of most malls in China have a food court and a grocery store. And because we worked in this mall, we spent a lot of time in this food court trying new Chinese foods and of course buying groceries. I still remember when we first came here, we had no idea what we were ordering most of the time. We just looked at the pictures and hoped for the best. But there are two places here that we absolutely loved. One was Crescent Dumplings, which we ate at almost probably 2 to 3 times a week. And then another place, there's Malaton, which is where you get to pick your own ingredients and then they cook it in this spicy soup. We've just left the mall and now we were walking to the metro, and we just kind of realized that we have never really walked around in Suzhou. And that's because that we would always take our e-bikes everywhere, or we would go directly to the metro and just metro everywhere, because Suzhou is actually really spread out and it was just so easy to get around using our e-bikes.
We have also noticed by renting the public bikes how hilly Suzhou is, and we got so tired. We're like, when did Suzhou get hills? It's because we never had to actually like work out, like getting places.
One nice thing about walking around though is Suzhou has these nice little walkways alongside the main road, and it's got these feng shui rocks, so it's quite pretty as well.
Like here, we're just across the little river to get to the other side. Working at the mall right next door, when we would get off of work and we would try to go down to Dongfunction to see all of our friends, we would always drive our e-bikes through here, but it wasn't this empty. At night, the IEs come out to dance. So we would have different groups of people out with their speakers playing different music, line dancing, salsa, pop music. They would just be doing all sorts of dances, and it's just something that I'll miss a little bit of China, just seeing the culture of people getting out and being a community. So we came to Culture and Expo Center because we really wanted to see the Pants building along the lake one last time, but we showed up and it's all under construction, all of the lookout points to see Dongfunction. We are walking along the path because there should be a sidewalk that goes along the lake all the way to Dongfunction, so we're just gonna keep walking until we can see the famous Pants building.
Sign of construction, these nice green walls, they put them everywhere.
Everywhere. It's a Saturday, and normally if you were to go out on a Saturday, it would be full of people, full of tourists. But because it is so hot today, we are the only 2 people at the Culture and Expo Center. Our path to walk around the lake did not work, so we are now finding a bike to ride around until we get to see the Pants building.
We could not find a way to get to the lake from the Culture and Expo Center, but we can go to one of our favorite restaurants around here, which is Lak.
Or the original name, Wrongs, because he has 2 places. I'm sorry to say this, Larry, but the first time I came to Wrongs, I was not a big fan, but James, however, loved it. And so we would always be coming back here, and I ended up finding the dish that I absolutely love, and that is the tofu vermicelli with a side of spring rolls. I'm super excited to get this, but also very sad because this is our last time getting Wrongs here in Suzhou. So Larry, I really hope that you can open up a spot in Kansas City or in the States so we can have your Vietnamese food there. We saw the Pants building from Culture and Expo Center. Now we're gonna hop back on the metro and go across the lake to Dongfunction and head into Suzhou Center.
Today is extremely hot and we're ready to go inside.
Yeah, we ate lunch, stayed inside for like 2 hours. We just got out here and we're like, man, I'm ready to go back inside. Mall here in Suzhou. Our first impressions coming here was just complete shock because this mall is huge. There are 7 different floors and there is so much you can do here. There's laser tag, you can go ice skating on the roof, you can play basketball, there's a skate park, there's a horse riding center here. It's insane how much stuff is inside of this mall.
Not only does Suzhou Center have tons of entertainment options, but also has lots of food and shopping options available. We would often come to Suzhou Center to eat. They have 2 food courts, one on the 5th floor and one in the basement, and there's tons of standalone restaurants. When we first arrived in Suzhou, we had a really hard time figuring out where to go, because everything seemed so confusing and we couldn't read any of the directions or Chinese on the roads. So the advice we were given is to look for the 2 main buildings here in Suzhou, the IFC Tower and Dongfangmen, which is nicknamed the Pants Building. So as we were driving, we were always constantly looking up into the skyline for these buildings to know where to go.
We are now on our way to the second to last stop of our memory lane tour here in Suzhou. We are heading to Gusu in the Old Town Pingzhonglu to see China's old towns one last time.
We are now at Pingzhonglu, which is the first ever old town that we visited. We went to this old town on our first weekend we had available, and we walked up and down the street and even visited a cat cafe.
When we came to Pingzhonglu, we were pretty excited because this was the China that we saw on the internet. You see the Chinese architecture, all the shops that are around, and then all of the souvenirs that you can buy.
We later found out that every city in China has basically an old town like this. However, Suzhou definitely has one of the best old towns that we visited.
Suzhou gets the nickname the Venice of China because of all the canals that run up and down the city and in the old town. The canals make this area extremely beautiful, and it's really nice to come during the week when there's not a lot of people. Right now it's Saturday, so it is packed full of tourists. But we would come on our days off, which were Monday and Tuesday, and it was so nice seeing the old town with nobody here.
It has been great coming back to Suzhou and reminiscing about how our lives started here in China. However, sadly, our China chapter is coming to an end, and we are going to continue our travels elsewhere.
We have made lifelong friends and we've seen incredible places all around China. We're definitely going to miss it here. But if you want to see all of our travel content through China, you can click the link up here and you can watch it all the way from the beginning.
If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel to watch all of our next adventures.
And make sure to leave us a comment to tell us where you want to see us go next. We'll see you in the next country.
再见，中国。
What a great time in China.
Bye, Joe.
I'll see you on the other side.